Hi, I'm the Synthesist, and in this video I'd like to propose a solution to the immigration problems in the United States. And actually I guess this solution could work in pretty much any country. I came to this solution while trying to examine my own position on immigration since it's back in the news with Trump rescinding the DACA executive order. For the most part, I only have one hard and fast position on immigration. A country needs to have secure borders. I'll come back to that in a second, but I just want to be clear that I could be convinced either way on just about every other aspect of immigration. It's a complex issue, and I haven't really seen any evidence or arguments that convince me to strongly hold a position either way. Given cultural differences and resource limits, I'd have to say that completely unregulated border crossings is a terrible idea, but what the actual immigration policy should be beyond that, I don't really have an opinion on. So returning to the border. The only thing I can say with absolute certainty is that regardless of what immigration policy we settle on, you can't enforce it if you don't have a secure border. That's just self-evident. If there's nothing stopping people from ignoring the policy, then obviously people will if it's in their best interest to do so. However, apparently securing the border is racist. Now you may consider that ridiculous, but let's take a moment and examine that idea. First, let me clarify, when I say secure our border, I'm not talking solely about our border with Mexico. I mean secure the whole thing. Mexico, Canada, the coast too. I accept the argument that most illegal immigration due to border crossing comes from the Mexican border, so it's worth starting there. But the ultimate goal should be to secure the whole thing. So it's not just an issue of keeping quote-unquote brown people out, it's an issue of keeping everyone out that we don't explicitly let in. But let's examine this issue of not wanting people of other races to come to the United States. I've traveled all over the world. I've met plenty of people of all different races and cultures in their local environments. I've also worked with first-generation immigrants here in the United States. I have to be honest, I would much rather spend time with a lot of them than many Americans. Many of the people I've spent time with come from much poorer economies than here in the US. It gives them a much more grounded view of the world. They appreciate hard work. They don't have a coronary over a couple of off-color jokes. They don't take for granted all the luxuries that we do here in the United States, and on the flip side, they're not nearly as obsessed with personal image or constant consumerism. Basically, they're like the American working class, except without American consumerism. So it's not that I want to keep these people out. On the contrary, I'd much rather have them here than all the leftist lunatics. Which brings me to the obvious solution to the immigration problem. I propose an immigrant leftist exchange program. The leftists want the illegal immigrants here so bad, let's let the immigrants take their spots. Any leftists can sign up. They get put on a list, and when an immigrant wants to come in, we just send the leftists to the immigrant's country in return. There's millions of leftists demanding we allow these immigrants in, so that's billions of immigrants that would get to enter the United States. And we no longer have to deal with the left-wing lunatics. It's a win-win. Problem solved. Here's a couple of ideas for people we could start with. Melissa Click. Maybe we can send her to Syria and see if she can organize some muscle to create a safe space there. God knows there's enough refugees that could use one. Tariq Nasheed. He's so convinced the United States is a white supremacist country, I think we should help him escape it by finding him a village in Africa with no white people around for 100 miles in any direction so he can't be oppressed by their whiteness. Although maybe he can take Rachel Dolezal with him. She wants to be a Nigerian so bad it makes sense to help her move there. She and Tariq can sort out between the two of them which one of them is oppressing the other. Then there's the elected Democrats that think it's incredibly important that we let in as many immigrants as possible. Of course, they should be willing to trade spots with them to let them in. I say we start with Nancy Pelosi, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and Chuck Schumer and go from there. Eric Clapton, the bike lock basher, is an obvious choice, once he gets out of jail, of course. Or better yet, maybe we can just let him ride out his sentence in whatever country we're going to trade him to. We could even cover the costs. It has to be cheaper than whatever it would cost to keep him in jail here. The natural extension of that is every member in Antifa. However, we should require that they be traded for people that live in actual fascist countries, so they can learn what fascism actually means. Let's see how well they do fighting real fascists that will happily fire into a crowd when they don't have any Starbucks coffee to get them through it. Okay, this list could go on forever, but I'll tell you what. Leave me a comment telling me who else you think we should get to volunteer and why. If I get enough responses, I'll put up the list in another video. Also, share this with any of your leftist friends and see if they'll join the list to get the ball rolling. And if you like this video, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my creative solutions to the world's problems. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.